everyone, it's Emily, and today I have two very exciting figures from Mandarake, and these are sort of my splurge items for the month because I was not prepared to buy two full-on scale figures. So I guess what basically happened was I missed the pre-order window for these re-releases, and when these figures were initially released, they were going for so much money on the aftermarket. I thought I missed out, but I was scouring all the Japanese sites when I saw that they got an early release to see if there are any extras available for retail price. And thankfully I found both of them on Mandarake. This is my first time buying from Mandarake, so I also incorporated a little mini review in this unboxing. But yeah, let's get to it. All right, so both of these packages arrived at different times because they were sold from different Mandarake locations, which is why I couldn't combine shipping, unfortunately. After I open these, I'll share some snippets of navigating their website and all that for the details, but I'm going to open up this smaller package, which is still pretty huge, first. And this one's the one that arrived first and the one that was technically a little cheaper. The shipping price is about the same for both packages. It was about $7,000 each, which was a lot, but I think buying these two separately ended up being a lot cheaper than the other websites that were offering used figures of these two. And both of these go together, so once I open up this one, you'll know what the other one is. So I packaged it very nicely. I was a little worried. I've heard mixed things about Mandarake's packaging, but they used paper and plenty of bubble wrap. So, great. And both of these figures were advertised as unopened, but with damaged boxes. So I'm a little curious to see what that means on Mandarake's grading system. But see the first one. This is Hyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yeah, I'm gonna check out her box to see what exactly is damaged about it. Because on their website, they do have images of the actual box itself, but I don't know if that's a stock photo or if it's the actual box that they're talking about. So there's just a little crease here, and that seems to be the only damage that I'm seeing. Seals are still intact. There's a small scratch on this window here, but it's very minor. Yeah, I think it's just that one kind of crease in the front of the box that I guess was considered damaged. So I'm gonna open up the next box, so we can see Mithra. Her box is bigger, and her price was a couple hundred yen more than Hyra. So I'm guessing that might be because fewer people ordered Mithra, because I know between the two, Hyra's a little bit more popular. Though, honestly, if I had to choose between the two, I think I'm team Mithra. But I like them both. And because both of these are from two different store locations, I'm curious if the inside packaging is similar or not. So let's see. So far it's looking similar. Some paper here. Okay, so these more paper, kind of like Ami, and then just bubble wrap around the box for the figure itself, which is fine. So let's see what her box damage looks like. Okay, very, very minor. So here you can see the corner is a bit smushed, but honestly, it's not a big deal. So similar to Hyra, Mithra also has this plastic band here. It doesn't have an unopened sticker, but looks like the seals are still intact, so it does look like it's an unopened box. All right, so taking a closer look at Hyra's box, you'll notice that it has Himura instead of Hyra on here. This is just her romanized Japanese name. And as you see here, it's made by Max Factory, and this is actually my first Max Factory set of figures. And so they are under the Good Smile Company umbrella. So here, there's a nice back side view of her. And here you see multiple different angles of Hyra and then her with Mithra. And I really like how their bases connect, which is why I feel like you can't just get one. Here's what she looks like on the side. And the upper window. the instructions. And she should have, yep, she still has her tape here. Wire cutter. All right, so I couldn't find wire cutters, but I did find pliers, so I had to work that. But it's off. So let's now decide. I was working on this. Oh, what's stuck now? Oh gosh. Okay. Here is the plastic vase. It's a nice little pinky clear shade with Xenoblade 2. Put it in there. Part of her sword. Very cool. This is her rod that makes it so she doesn't lean over time. And this. Then here she is up close. She has a lot of great details. I think I need to remove her head to get rid of this plastic bit, but it's nice how she's already has the sword in her hands, so I don't want to mess with that like I did with some of my other figures. And yeah, lots of great detail and lots of beauty there. All right, so I just put her together off camera. She was actually pretty easy to assemble. Her head isn't removable, but you can get that plastic around her neck off fairly easily. But yeah, this was all to her assembly, so she was pretty straightforward. I'll show a better picture of her after I assemble Mithra. And now here is Mithra's box. It does not say Max Factory in the corner like it did for Pyra's, which is interesting. And this is her Romanized Japanese name. So this side, we have a nice view of her. And then some more angles on her with Pyra. And then they showed a side view of her here. And the top. And I see she doesn't have the wire like Pyra did, so it's like I could just pop her out. So yeah, it looks like there's some more noticeable differences in the packaging. You have a plastic rod for support versus the metal peg that Pyra had, which I guess is because it's supporting in the front rather than the back, maybe. Yeah, let's check out her face here. Looks like it has like fingerprints or something here. Then her weapon. Her plastic just came right off. And then here she is. So it looks like I have to insert the sword through her hand here. So I'm gonna do this off camera to make sure I don't break anything. All right, thankfully she wasn't in any trouble either. I was a little unsure where to position her hand on the hilt, but I think I have it at a good place where it's balancing well. Just a closer look at the instructions here. And here they are together. I'm super happy that I finally have these figures. And I'll share what they look like next to Melia, who's my other Xenoblade Chronicles figure. And I do have Nia on the way from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I do want to get Cosmos and also Mio from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at some point. And basically collect all of the Xenoblade Chronicles scales. That's what it's looking like. I would love to have a uni one too, but they haven't announced anything yet. So I'll wait patiently and hope they also make one of her. But yeah, I think having both of these together really just gives them more of a presence, and it's really not the same if you just have one of these figures. I sort of wish that the two leaning rods were the same materials so that they would be a bit more consistent. And I was a little worried how I would feel with both of the rods pretty prominent in their design. And thankfully I'm not too bothered by them like I thought I would potentially be. It would be preferable if figure companies just made designs that didn't need these rods, but I guess it's good to have them than not have them and see them lean or something over time. Now I'm going to assume both of these figures are the re-releases since they were new in box, but I don't really notice any differences from the figures I've seen in other unboxing videos of the originals. Yeah, I just love all the paint details that they put here, and I feel like they did her face right. And she's really dynamic, I think, in every angle, even with her pretty skimpy shorts there. But I love how her leggings have this nice glossy sheen. And you do see that in other parts of her outfit. So it really creates some interesting textures to the paint here. And just makes her a bit more lifelike. And I'm sorry, the zoom in's not because of her booty, but just look at the texture, like the top of her stockings. Like, it's really remarkable just how much detail these figures have. And I really love the shape of her shoes too, and just how the green is so prominent. The green in her chest piece isn't as prominent as it is in the actual game. It doesn't capture the light quite as well as what's on her headpiece and on her shoes. But I think that's okay. I think it would have been a little too distracting to just have a very glowy across her chest. And yeah, there's just so much detail also in her weapon. They really did a great job with this figure overall. Now for a closer look of Mithra, you see the same green as in Pyra's design, except it's a bit more prominent in Mithra's here. However, I think her headpiece doesn't capture the light quite as much as Pyra's, but the rest of her armor and her weapon, I think, really shows off that nice translucent green. And looking closer at her face, I think they captured her smirk pretty well. I think the reason why I enjoyed her character a bit more than Pyra is I thought she was a bit more funny and ridiculous. And those are the characters I tend to gravitate towards. And she has a lot more hair here, and I think they did a good job at shading. However, it is pretty smooth up here with a crease line. I don't think you could see the seam quite as well on camera here, but it is pretty noticeable, I would say. And she also looks great, I think, from every angle. And her figure does have the panty shots too, if that's what you're into. I'm not going to share those because I don't know if that will get me demonetized or whatever. And just like with Pyra's weapon, there's a lot of great detail in this sword as well as her shoes here. And then here they are next to Melia. Melia does look a little bit smaller than the other two, but I think it is correct in terms of scale, so it makes sense. I'll be very curious to see what they look like next to Cosmos and Nia. I will say their bases look kind of funny next to each other, so I kind of wish Melia had a plastic base too, because I know Mia and Cosmos both have a blue plastic base, so Melia kind of looks like she sticks out a bit, but maybe the Mio design that's coming out soon will fit more with hers. We'll see. Alright, so here is Mandarake's website, and because this part of the website does cater towards international buyers, their English search engine is actually pretty good. And here it looks like they still have boxes for Mithra and Pyra if anyone's interested. So I'm going to just click on Pyra to show kind of what details they share. So here it shows which store it's from. So this may or may not be from the same store as the Mithra figure. That was the case when I went to order. And here it says it's unopened but damaged package. The box is damaged, so it's probably going to be very similar to what I just received. And the price is around retail, so it did sell for around 20,000 yen. And what's nice about Mandarake is when you make an account and log in, it does give you shipping estimates. So it looks like EMS shipping is a little bit less than what I paid for. So mine was closer to 7,000, maybe 7,500. I'm forgetting now. Mithra's here. Her price is a little bit more. This was, I think, the same price that I paid, 25,000 yen. And this is from a different store in Fukuoka. So these will have to ship separately because they're from 2 separate locations and they don't consolidate in different stores apparently. So this is unopened and then minor damage. So I think it's going to be very similar to, again, what I received. And here, her box is actually a little bit bigger than Pirate's. So EMS shipping is a bit more. When it comes to ordering, it was very simple to add to cart and go to checkout. However, I did have some issues with payment. So how their website works is that you put in a buy request and you choose what shipping method you want. You use what's on the actual items page as reference when choosing. I don't think they show that during checkout if I'm recalling correctly. And then before you can finalize the order, you have to choose whether or not to pay with PayPal or using an overseas credit card. It looks like within the past year, they changed their payment processing vendor or something, and they're having a difficulty, I think, processing American credit cards. So I couldn't get mine to go through. It wasn't blocked by my credit card company. It was blocked on their end through the processing kind of failure or something. And so it's not easy to just switch to PayPal. You have to put in a request order on the website using your order reference number. So it wasn't that big of a deal. It just took a day for them to send me a new invoice with PayPal, and so I paid using PayPal. So from there, it was really easy. I'll have the timetable of how long it took them to ship my package and when it arrived up on display. So overall, I'm pretty happy with everything. In terms of packing, I thought Mandarake did a really good job, including bubble wrap as well as paper to provide plenty of protection. They don't use as large of boxes as Ami from what I could tell. And so there's not as much of a layer of paper between the figure box and the parcel package. But my package didn't encounter any issues, even though on the outside it did get a little bit crushed. But I don't think that affected what was inside, since it was pretty well protected. Their website's pretty easy to navigate once you kind of figure out how it works. So hopefully my explanation helped with that. I guess my only qualm is that they don't combine shipping, especially when you're ordering from 2 separate stores. But overall, I thought the prices were reasonable, and if you look here on Ami, they're selling used figures of Mithra and Pyra for about 10,000 more. So I feel like I had a pretty good deal, despite having to put these into 2 separate packages for shipping. But that's everything for this video. I'm really trying not to buy any more scale figures for the rest of this year and wait until after my move, which is supposed to happen around January, maybe February. Still trying to finalize the details there. So I'm really trying to stay away from any of the pre-owned sections right now on these websites. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions regarding my experience buying on Mandarake or anything else figure or collection related. And until my next video, bye guys.